Hello everyone and welcome to Civic Platform. This is your host Zuher Almusre. Today I have a special guest here in the studio. She's named Halla Alhamed and she's one of the students on the high school in Winnipeg. Welcome Halla. I'm very fortunate to have you on my Civic Platform.
I'm very happy to be here, yes.
So can we start with introducing yourself? Who are you and what are you doing?
I'm a high school, I'm an immigrant here. I'm an immigrant in Canada. I immigrated, I think, probably 5 years ago in 2018. And I came here just to talk about my experience as an immigrant in Canada, as a high school student and as a student in general. And yeah, I'm going to be talking about everything, starting from difficulties to challenges and so on.
Interesting. So let's start with the challenges. What do you face as a Muslim immigrant to Canadian culture?
Well, if we're talking about school, then for sure, because Muslims have to pray 5 times a day, it's very hard to find a place to pray in school, and you have to talk to so many people to ask them for a place to pray. And sometimes you have to pray twice at school, and sometimes it's once, so it depends on the time, and it's pretty challenging and needs a lot of courage to go and ask them if there's a place for you to pray. Although they're very open to it and they usually give you a place to pray. That's one thing. And the other thing is language barriers. When I came here, I was very fortunate that I already was going to a school that taught everything in English when I was in my home country. When I came here, although, it was very hard because everything was different. Even people spoke English here. In my old school, everyone spoke Arabic, but the curriculum was in English, but everyone spoke in Arabic. But when I came here, everything was in English, every single thing, which was a very big challenge for me. But it was fine. I think after 1 year or 2 years, I was pretty able to adapt to how they talk, and there are a lot of when you're speaking to someone in school or with your teachers, you don't just read out of a book. It's conversational. You use slangs and all of these, and it's very hard to adapt to these things. But it's fine. It's all right. After, you have to speak a lot, but it's fine. Yeah, in the end, you'll be able to.
So in terms of finding of friends here, when you left your back home, if that was another challenge for you to start building new relationships with others, to build your network here in Canada, how was it?
It was hard in the beginning because they are very different from my own culture. It was very hard for me to find any connection between me and the other people. But after getting to know, I first started talking to Muslims and in my class, Muslim kids and all of that. But after a couple of months in school, I began to talk to all of my classmates, and it was pretty interesting to see how different they are from me and how I gained a lot of information from them, and it was very helpful. It was hard. I wouldn't say it wasn't. It was hard, but it was very fun to get to know so many different cultures. Yeah.
So in your school, many of the students, they become from different countries, international kids. So did you take the initiative to know them, to teach them how to pass these challenges? I know you have some European friends from different backgrounds. Yeah. How you build that relationship with them, and how you feel when they are coming and they go back to their home countries?
Well, I know a lot of people that come as international students, and I'm very happy to meet them actually, and to gain I think it's very interesting that you can speak to one person and know so many things about their culture. So when we talk and we hang out together for so many days and hours, I feel I gain so much information from their culture, and then I can help them adapt here too, like I adapt. It really is like a, I would say, like everyone is happy in this relationship. But when they go back to their home country as international students, I feel very sad. It's very sad. But if we're talking about immigrants like me, like people that come to the school to Canada to settle, I think the first thing I do is to help them settle in school and to find them, like I help, like my friends are your friends kind of thing. So I help them get introduced to the school and help them find their own friends and their own like interests, because there are so many clubs and activities in high schools. But yeah, when I feel like they're okay to be on their own, they don't need me anymore, I'll just become like a friend. I become more like an instructor to them to get them on the right path in the beginning, but it's fine. But after that, they become like.
So there is like some people talk to me and they said like, we didn't feel accepting here in the Winnipeg schools because we are wearing hijab or the way we are talking about our culture. So as you know, like a Muslim culture, it's built in their religion, and sometimes it's very hard to speak about the religion because it's not allowed to speak on it. So how did you find your classmate accepting you, accepting your culture, accepting you, the way you dress? How was it?
I think the most thing that affects how people react to your religion or culture is how you present it. So if you present your culture or religion as something that is very strict and that makes you very unhappy or something similar to that, people will start making, like you will give the people the vibes that it's not a fun culture or a religion. But if you present it as a very like nice and very impressive religion or culture, I think people will begin to see it as impressive and very interesting too. So it's the way you present yourself in public places or even school is how people will actually, how like you will see, like it will affect the reaction you get from people. So it totally is on you, like how you present your culture. Sometimes people are just, like some kids are just racist, and I understand that. Maybe they don't know the culture well. So I think representing it well will help them to understand it well too.
So you personally, did you find like any difficulty for like to settle here, or you was like a normal?
When I came here after 3 months of staying here in Canada, I came in the summer break, so it was like August and July. And I felt like I wanted to go back to my home country after 3 months because it was very hard. Like in the beginning, it was very hard to find a house and all of that. And you know, you feel the stress your parents are feeling. It makes you feel unsettled. But when I entered school and when I started making friends and so on, getting more comfortable, I felt like I did belong here. But after that, before that, it was very hard to feel like I'm from, like, I felt like I didn't belong here. But when I started going to school and meeting so many new people, and all of them weren't just from the same culture, everyone was different from everybody. Like we had Chinese, Korean, Nigerian, so many different cultures, and they made me feel like I did belong here. It was, yeah, I think school helped me feel like I'm settled. Yeah.
In the beginning, you mentioned that some immigrants, they have a barrier in English. How you overcome these barriers and you make yourself more confident with a new language?
I think language takes time. So just going with the flow, I feel like. Just talking to people, even if you make mistakes and even if your grammar isn't as great as you want it to be, talking to people will really help you improve your language skills. And if you're talking about just the language barrier in general, I think the first thing is to embrace it. Just embrace this language barrier. Don't be like embarrassed from it or like annoyed or like don't feel embarrassed from the language barrier, because it will come with time, it will come eventually. So if you focus too much on it, I think it will make your life very miserable. So yeah, just take your time. I would say just take your time. Like, don't rush anything. I feel like, especially if you're a student in school, you have to take your time with language. But the first thing is to speak a lot, even if you don't know what you're saying. Just speak a lot, and just I would say, like, just speak your mind. Yeah, and they will correct you. Like, many of my friends would correct me and help me with this and that, and this really helped me improve my language skills, speaking skills. So yeah.
So what about like the culture shock? Like many international student or immigrant student, when especially the girl like you, when they become from their back home, the society there, it's too close, and here it's too open. So did you find that it's like a shocking in somehow, or you just accept it and you just go with it?
I would say it was a cultural shock. Very shocked. I was very shocked, because the first shock was that schools are mixed. The school I go to, public schools, I'd say, are mixed. It was it was very shocking, because I'm used to go to an only female school. That was the first shock that I experienced. And the second shock was like how the relationship between teachers and students is very close, and that's not how it is back in my home country. It's actually very different. Like, I would say, like, it's not respect. Like, they do respect their teachers, but they treat them like their friends, I'd say. And this is like, it shocked me. Like, am I allowed to do that? That was a shock too. And like the clothes, the style in general, like, it was a shock. But it was fine, I think, because I learned that everyone is comfortable with their own thing, I guess. And it is fun to have some change sometimes, I would say. But other than that, I felt like everyone should keep their own culture and openness to themselves, I guess. Yeah.
And how your family take that big change, and when you come back from the school and you start talking with your family about it, what they react, what they advise you to be like more settled and confident?
My parents, they would laugh most of the time, because what I'm saying seems like it doesn't happen in real life. But they would laugh, and they would just advise me to just be myself, I say. Like, don't try to be someone else in school. Don't try to fit in. Like, some people would expect you to change your clothing style, or how you wear your, I don't know, your shoes, or what backpack you choose, just to fit in school and to be like everyone else. They used to be like, just be yourself. Do whatever you want. It's not like you're not trying to be them, and they're not trying to be you. Like, just try. Like, you see it, yes. You don't like it, don't do it. You like it, do it. Like, it just works that way.
And when you was going to like a female school in your home country, and now like you are in mixed, so there are some classes, like for example the gyms, there is some playing with like male and female. So how you can explain yourself, like, don't touch me, I am not allowing, don't be close to me, how that will like being with you?
It was very awkward in the beginning. In gym class, you play so many dodgeball games and games where you have to attack people, and I find it very uncomfortable. And I had to spend so much time figuring out what I'm gonna wear, because you have to have gym clothes, and this was one thing. And then the other thing is, boys are very aggressive. So like, they will throw a dodgeball and it will hit you so hard. It actually is painful, and it was so hard to adapt. And usually, even the girls that are born here, they don't like playing with the boys, because they don't let you play basketball, football, or soccer. It's their game. You're just watching, even though you're on the court. That's how it works. And I think I just started taking it as a joke. I didn't care. And when I moved to high school, they offered a female-only course, and I was so glad and happy, because I felt like I can actually play now. like I can actually participate comfortably in the class. It was very nice.
So when like you with your classmate like have a party or like going together outside, so you have to eat halal food, and they maybe eat pork, maybe they sit like in a restaurant which serve alcohol. This is something not accepting in your religion.
Yeah.
So how you explain it for your friends, and how did they accept or respect your culture, and how it works when you go outside to hang out?
When we go outside, usually in the process of planning to go outside, I usually say, I don't eat this, 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 and I only eat this and that. And they will be surprised. They'll be like, you don't eat chicken or you don't eat beef? And I'll be like, no, I do eat it, but it has to be halal and so. So usually they would choose a restaurant a lot, and I'll go to the restaurant and I'll just choose things that don't have these things. Yeah, I'll just avoid without like doing a whole introduction. I don't eat pork, I just avoid without making a whole documentary on it. I feel like. And when it's like parties and stuff, I just avoid it. I don't have to eat everything they're serving. And if everything they're serving has chicken or things that I can't eat, I'll just say I can't eat this. It has this and that. Usually their reaction is just interest. They're interested. Like, why? Like, why can't you eat this or that? Or what's the difference between halal or normal? And at that time, even my teachers asked me, like, what is the difference? They don't know. So I feel like when you explain, it will make their life way easier. Like, they will not judge you if you just explain to them why you're like that. Or if you just say like, oh, I'm this and that, and you just stop talking. And it's like, okay, then this is how they will judge you, because they don't know. So just like introduce them to things.
So you mentioned like a couple of times about the relationship between you and your teacher, and you explained it's amazing, you are like more friends. But some other Muslim female, they said like, I feel like the teacher not accepting me in the class, they trying to avoid me from some activities because I am not fitting in, I'm wearing, they like judging me the way how I dressed or the way how I like not eating with them. So is that something you face, or some of your classmates they have been in this situation, or that like it's like a mistake, they have to explain themselves better? So how that works?
For me, I'm very grateful that I didn't have to face something like that, like a teacher that is very unacceptable. Some of my friends have faced that in some of the high schools, and it usually really bothered them. And I think if I was to face this kind of situation, where the teacher is just not accepting me, like whatever I do, they're not accepting me, they don't like me. And if that's the case, I think I'll just either, if I have the choice, I'll drop the course, or if I don't have the choice and I have to be in the course, I will just try to be the best I can, even if they're like very racist and very like they don't accept me like how I am. I will just ignore them, I guess. Even though, like, if I have questions, I'll go to another teacher. It doesn't really, they wouldn't stop my learning process just because they're racist. Because teachers that are like that, teachers that, I don't know what would be their reason, but they treat some children like very weirdly. I don't think they want your success in this course, for example, and to show them that you are strong enough and you're smart enough. I think you have to succeed in this course.
So another topic, if we can move to the snow here in Winnipeg.
Oh yeah.
It's too thick, and for a student in the first year to deal and walk with this heavy snow, what's your challenge and what's your story with the snow?
I have a story. So in my first year here, I used to walk to school in the morning, And one morning I walked to school and I walked like normally wearing my jacket and gloves, but it wasn't like a heavy jacket or heavy gloves. And I felt like my hands are freezing. Like everything was freezing. I couldn't even walk faster because I was so frozen. And when I reached to the school, I saw they have like a screen that shows the weather and it was minus 23. I was like, that's why I was freezing. It was so cold. And after that, I just learned that if you dress up well, you wouldn't feel the weather. So I started wearing thicker gloves and thicker boots and thicker jackets. But the cold, I love the winter. I love winter. I love it so much. So it does not really bother me. If there's so much snow, I actually like it. But low temperatures, like minus 40 and 30, it's very crazy. And you just want it to pass. You just want it to go away. And I think it was a shock to me, like how cold the weather is. But you get used to it. You get used to it.
So you start your career as a journalist this year. And you start with like a barrier with the English, and today you are writing in English and you have a work in English. It was like a very big challenge for you to have this kind of job and to prove yourself and to start a career. Tell me about it, how you make yourself fit in this job.
When I started my job as a society journalist, I thought I was working with, like, the people I was working with were very professional. And as a new employee, like, it was my first job ever, I felt like I was missing so many things. Like, I needed to be quick and I needed to be, like, what is the word? Like, you have to be quick and everything. You have to find the words, you have to find the people to interview. And when we do meetings and stuff, and everyone would speak about their work and what they're gonna do, I would feel like, oh my God, I have to like step it up because everyone is very professional. But I think their professionalism, like how good they are at their work, helped me a lot, helped me to improve myself in many aspects. And I think my job as a journalist was a gift from God, actually, because it helped me get to know so many people and so many topics. And my point of view, my perspective of the world changed a lot, because when you're writing an article about something, for example, you don't just look at one opinion, you look at every single opinion available. It's very interesting. I'm very grateful for the job, and I think I got this job after 3 years or 4 years of being in Canada. I'm very happy that the language wasn't a struggle, but I did get a lot better at writing articles when I started this job. It was hard in the beginning, in the first like 3 months, but I think now I'm able to even add more onto my articles.
So did you start with like some volunteering, or how you build your experience so they can accept you in this job? Like you show them some experience, right? And to pass the job interview. So what was your secret to build your experience?
To be honest, I did many hours of volunteering before I got this job, because I had no experience in journaling or writing articles or stuff like that. But my school, I did some courses in my school that helped me write news articles. And also I did volunteer with a journalist, and he taught me many things about this kind of job, like interviews and asking people how to find people and what are the specific people I'm looking for. And other than that, I did a lot of volunteering in many different like parts of the city to gain knowledge of what a workplace looks like. I think the volunteering hours did help me to get this job. I got interviewed and I got it. I was so happy. But I think it did help. School helped. The volunteering hours helped. And working with an experienced journalist helped with this thing too.
So we reached the end of this episode. I would like to finalize everything and wrap up this episode with like a final advice for like someone coming to Canada like you. What will be your tips and your advices to that girl to be one day success like you?
I think girls or boys, I think they should take their time. They should not rush anything, either language or fitting in or no. They should just take their time with everything. Language, be it can either be like language or friends or getting good marks in high school or finding a good job. They should take their time because no one is rushing them and they shouldn't feel rushed at all. And I think so many good things can come with time. People, if they rush to fit in, like immigrants like me, they will just lose a lot of their personality and characteristics and a lot of their culture with it. I think they should just take their time with everything, and it will come eventually. If they actually want to go after it and they really want it, it will come to them. I think they should just take their time, slow down, not rush anything. Everything will happen when it's supposed to happen. And I think just enjoy the moment, the process. Even when I didn't know how to speak English and I used to mistake does and do, my friends used to make fun of it and I used to laugh with them too. Like I didn't find it offensive or anything like that. I think they should just laugh at their mistakes and just keep going, keep on. Yeah.
Halla Alhamed, thank you very much. I was very fortunate to have you in Civic platform. So we reached the end of our episode. If you like it, please like, share, and subscribe, and wait for a new episode from Civic platform.